Back when we were the most in love, my girlfriend Lucy made everyone a promise. If we didn't make it to the end, nobody was allowed to go to her wedding. Later, Lucy got married. The man she was marrying wasn't me, and sure enough, our friends really didn't show up. After the wedding, Lucy confronted them, all hurt and upset. Emma, the friend who had always hated my guts, slapped Lucy right across the face. Lucy, people who betray someone who truly loved them deserve to die. But why was I the one who died? The night Lucy sent out her wedding invitations, I died alone in some forgotten corner. She was wearing a gorgeous, expensive gown, moving with effortless grace. Beside her, her groom-to-be, Tom, gently tucked back a loose strand of hair, his eyes full of love. The banquet was packed with important guests. Honestly, it was even flashier than when Lucy and I got engaged. Tom looked around and casually asked, "Didn't you invite those close friends of yours? On a day this important, they didn't come? Did you guys have a falling out?" Tom gave a half smile. "Don't tell me they've got a problem with me." Lucy's expression darkened for a second, but she still forced a smile. "I'll ask them again." She called them one by one, but every line was either busy or unanswered. The smile slowly faded from Tom's face too. Those people had always been standoffish, but they were loyal. On a day this important, he figured they'd at least show up to keep appearances. After all, Lucy had been their friend for over 10 years, and I was standing right beside her, just like I had so many times before as her real boyfriend. Too bad this time, nobody could see me. I looked up at the stage and only saw a picture-perfect couple, Lucy and Tom. Turns out I really had been blind. Otherwise, I would have noticed long ago that something about Tom had been off from the start. Tom pulled out his phone with a smug look. The screen was still open to our chat. "Jack, so what if you've been with her for 10 years? Any woman I want, I get. 7 days from now is my wedding with Lucy. You got the guts to show up?" I lowered my eyes and finally realized this wasn't just trash talk. Tom had been showing his hand all along. By the time I figured it out, it was already too late. I did have the guts to come. He just didn't have the chance to see me because I was dead. After the banquet, Tom and Lucy stumbled into the car together and collapsed into the back seat. The driver didn't even blink. He raised the divider and pulled away. Tom leaned in close, his booze-soaked breath brushing Lucy's face. She giggled, turned away a little, then lightly kissed him on the cheek. "You've had a lot to drink." Tom softened his voice, all cute and clingy, and said like a spoiled kid, "Don't hate on me." Lucy laughed, grabbed his collar, and pressed her lips to his. What came next was a long, suffocating kiss. All of a sudden, the air felt suffocating. I passed right through the car and sat on the roof instead. The summer night wind couldn't warm my frozen soul. A clingy, vulnerable guy was exactly Lucy's least favorite type of man. Back when I occasionally showed weakness or leaned on her, she'd always say, "Be a man, don't do that, it gives me goosebumps." By the time I snapped out of it, they'd already reached their destination. The second they walked into the villa, some invisible force dragged me along after them. After Lucy walked in, she casually kicked off her heels by the shoe cabinet and poured herself a cup of hot water. Tom came up right behind her and wrapped an arm around her slim waist. "Lucy, I'm scared." Not just Lucy, even I stared at Tom in shock. Ever since I met him, I'd never once seen anything remotely connected to the word scared in either his words or his behavior. Lucy turned around and asked, confused, "Scared Jack will change his mind. Scared you'll leave me. Scared I won't get to really have you." Without even thinking, Lucy said, "You won't. Jack won't change his mind." The certainty in her voice left me dazed. Back when we were most in love, she'd said the same thing to me, just as firmly. No way. I, Lucy, will only ever love Jack in this lifetime. That day, I really thought the person I'd spend the rest of my life with would be her. Lucy and I had been desk mates in middle school, schoolmates in high school, lovers since freshman year of college, and later business partners. After 16 years, we got engaged when the company finally stabilized. If nothing had gone wrong, this would have been the year we got married. But in the 16th year of knowing each other, and the 10th year of loving each other, Lucy changed. When did Lucy start changing? Probably when she stopped texting to check on me. Probably when she'd sit across from me hugging her phone, unable to hold back her smile. Probably when she started sending Tom good morning and good night texts every single day. Feelings really can change in a heartbeat. So when we broke up, she put all the blame on herself. Like that polished, high-class looking man had nothing to do with any of it. Honestly, when Tom first showed up, I didn't think much of it. He was the spoiled, illegitimate son our business partner doted on, and he wanted to come to our company to get some experience. To close that deal, Lucy even came to ask for my opinion. She said she'd put Tom in an assistant role, just doing little things like making tea and running errands. Basically, we'd just be paying to babysit a rich kid. There was no way she'd let him touch the actual business. I believed her. What I didn't know was that Lucy made Tom her personal assistant and kept him there for a whole year, while also doing everything she could to send me overseas to open up the market. A year passed just like that, and when I finally came back, Lucy was already the future Mrs. Tom in everybody's eyes, and I was just Lucy's ex. Before I could even go confront her, Lucy came to me first. She slid a resignation letter across the table, along with a stock transfer agreement. Jack, we said it before. If one day we met someone who made our hearts race more, we'd break up peacefully. You remember that, right? When Lucy and Tom rolled into the bedroom together, I stayed in the living room. Thank God there was still a little bit of distance left between me and Lucy. At least I didn't have to watch those filthy, disgusting scenes with my own eyes, even though Tom had already sent me their videos and photos. Lucy had tossed her phone in the living room, and it kept vibrating non-stop. I leaned in and saw the number on the screen. It was mine. My mind blew wide open. I froze where I stood, my fingertips shaking uncontrollably. The moments right before my death started replaying in front of me, one by one. Fear, helplessness. I remembered exactly how ugly my death had been. After I agreed to Lucy's terms and left the company, Tom came to find me and said he wanted to talk. I looked at him and he let out a sneer. Aren't you curious why I picked Lucy? Tom took me to a coffee shop near the office. At first, I just wanted to see how deep Lucy's feelings for you really were. Turns out, not that deep. I didn't want to waste another word on him. But the second I stepped outside, a few men grabbed me and shoved me into a van. The ride went on forever, from downtown to the outskirts, from daylight into night. When the mountain wind started howling and thin branches scratched up my bare arms, I finally realized they'd dragged me out to the middle of nowhere. Tom sent you, didn't he? I asked, forcing myself to stay calm. The four men in front of me looked hollow and worn down, with sunken eyes and a nasty stench hanging off them. The guy in front took a hard drag from his cigarette and looked me over like I was livestock headed to slaughter. My heart was pounding like crazy, but I still tried to talk my way out of it. I don't have cash on me, but let me go. Whatever he paid you, I'll give you double. All I got back was harsh, ugly laughter. Every look on their violent faces told me I was screwed. The leader sneered, "Kid, remember this in your next life. Don't mess with people you shouldn't mess with." They beat the hell out of me. They ground my fingers under their shoes, and my face swelled up from all the slaps. One of them clicked his tongue and said, "Too bad you're not a girl. Otherwise, we could have had some fun first." Another one answered with a disgusting grin. "Look at that smooth skin. Does it even matter if he's a girl?" The first guy shot back, disgusted. "Not everybody's into that crap like you are." Listening to them talk like that, I felt my whole body go cold. I fought back with everything I had, and that only made those animals madder. And just like that, my life ended. And so did the pain. When I opened my eyes again, I was standing behind Lucy, watching her hold Tom's hand and announce their wedding date. If you counted it out, her wedding day landed on the 7th day after my death. At 1 in the morning, Lucy came out wrapped in a towel. She picked up the phone she'd left on the couch, and the second she saw the missed call, her pupils shrank. I was curled up on the couch, shaking all over, my head crammed with the images of how I died. Tom's voice drifted out from the bedroom. "Lucy, what's wrong?" Lucy hid the emotion in her eyes, deleted the call log, and walked back to Tom with the phone in her hand. The way she did it was so practiced, like she'd done it countless times before. It looked exactly like the way she used to act when I started coming back home less often. Right after I moved abroad, Lucy used to video call me all the time. She'd complain about how much work there was at the company, then act all clingy and say how nice it'd be if I were there with her. I'd be handling documents while teasing her. "Since when did you get this clingy?" I thought I was just joking around, but her face went pale in an instant. Later, I found out that when two people stay together long enough, even the way they talk starts to rub off on each other without them realizing it. The next morning, Lucy walked out of Tom's apartment. Before leaving, she gently kissed him on the face and said in a low voice, "Sleep a little longer. You don't have to go to the office today." I almost laughed. Lucy used to be obsessed with time. Rain or shine, she'd get up on schedule, and she never let me slack off either, afraid we'd delay the day's work. For 16 years, I got used to all the routines she made me get used to. But apparently every single one of her habits could be broken, and that one special exception was only ever for a certain person. When I followed Lucy to the office, I saw the assistant who'd worked under me for 3 years clutching a contract outside her office, pacing in circles like he was about to lose it. The second he saw Lucy, he blurted out, "Lucy, there's a problem with that contract Jack negotiated a few days ago. The other side refuses to sign unless they see Jack in person." Lucy shot him a glance and didn't seem to think it was a big deal at all. She just said, like it was obvious, "Then call Jack, he'll go." The assistant looked at Lucy awkwardly while the phone kept ringing unanswered on speaker. Maybe it was because no one picked up after so many tries, but Lucy's brow kept tightening until she finally slammed the contract onto the desk. "How long have you been calling?" "Since this morning. Still haven't gotten through once." The assistant hunched his shoulders, his voice practically shaking. Standing by the desk, I found the whole thing bitterly ironic. Last night, my phone had literally called Lucy's, but right now she probably just thought I was being difficult on purpose. I pressed my lips together and let out a self-mocking smile, then glanced at the contracts scattered across the desk. A ton of clauses had been changed. They were nothing like the terms I'd negotiated. One look and I knew it was Tom's doing. Lucy didn't say anything for a long time. She just kept staring at her phone screen. On the screen was our chat. 2 minutes earlier, she'd even sent me a message. Her jaw was tight, like she was trying hard to hold back a blow-up. Then her best friend Emma called. "Lucy, Jack isn't at the office. I've been looking for him too. If you get a hold of him, tell him to get to the office as soon as—" Emma didn't even get to finish before Lucy cut her off. She hung up in a rush without waiting for a response, then turned and walked straight into the conference room. I got dragged forward by Lucy's hurried steps, but this hollow, distant ache kept spreading through my chest. More than anything, I wanted to know what Emma had been about to say next. Was she going to say I'd gone missing? Or had she already heard I was dead? God, what a humiliating way to die. The conference room was dead silent. I'd spent nearly half a month landing that deal, and right when it was about to be finalized, Lucy broke up with me. A lot of people said Lucy had thrown me away after using me, and now that I was gone, the company really couldn't keep running. By the time Emma got to the office, Lucy was already furious. "What? The company can't function without Jack? A whole office full of people and none of them can measure up to one Jack?" Emma's hand froze mid-knock. She stood at the door hesitating for over 10 seconds, then finally rushed in. Tom came in right behind her and beat her to the punch. "Lucy, what's going on?" Lucy turned around, her gaze going straight past me and landing on Tom. She completely ignored Emma, who was standing right there. She handed the contract to Tom. "Take a look, what happened? The partner suddenly backed out and says they won't sign unless they see Jack." A strange flicker passed through Tom's eyes. "You don't think Jack's pulling something behind the scenes, do you?" He left the sentence hanging on purpose, but everybody in the room acted like they instantly knew what he meant. But Jack wasn't pulling anything, because Jack was already a ghost. Only Emma stood there with her fists clenched. Lucy silently accepted Tom's accusation and just said coldly, "Meeting over." Once everyone else had left, Emma rushed forward and grabbed Lucy by the collar. "You're seriously unbelievable. Jack is dead. Dead. And you won't even claim his body?" What woman doesn't want a perfect wedding? Running into a funeral procession on your wedding day really does feel like bad luck. Jack got out to talk to them, but the rear window never rolled down. All the driver did was toss out one cold line through the crack. "Show some respect for the dead." In the end, Lucy's side gave way, and the funeral convoy sped past. I wanted to chase after it, but I couldn't get away from Lucy even a little. She was on the verge of tears while Jack looked almost pleased. He glanced back at the funeral procession disappearing into the distance, a smile curling at the corner of his mouth. But when he turned back to comfort Lucy, his face softened again. Lucy and Jack really were late in the end. After they got back to the apartment, Jack still didn't see Lucy's parents, but he didn't seem to care. He just went through the wedding rituals. Then the whole group rushed off again with a car convoy toward the wedding venue. Jack had rented out an entire estate, and the huge lawn was set up like some dreamy, romantic wedding stage. It looked like stepping into a fairy tale, but I didn't have the headspace to care. All I could think about was that person holding my photo. Anna, the one who had always hated me, looked exhausted, her eyes swollen and red. It seemed like my death had really hit her hard. The wedding got pushed from 11:58 to 12:18. Lucy finally got married. She held out her ring finger and let the man slide the ring onto it. Together, they solemnly promised to stay by each other's side for the rest of their lives and grow old together. On the big screen, a video kept looping clips of Lucy and Jack's past together. According to the MC, Lucy had edited that video herself. Jack was all smiles, but I found it hard to watch. I was the one who taught Lucy how to edit videos in the first place. Back in college, Lucy suddenly fell in love with photography. She started her own social media account, and I pulled all-nighters teaching myself editing. Later, we made our first real money through that account. Once she got interested, she had me teach her too. During all of this, Jack kept looking toward the entrance of the banquet hall, like he was waiting for someone, and every chance Lucy got, she was making phone calls. Even after the wedding ended, the person Jack was waiting for never showed up, and Lucy still couldn't get through on the phone. After the ceremony, Jack's father chatted with Lucy for a bit. But in the end, he brought up Anna. Funny, I didn't see Anna today. I heard from Jack that you two have been close for over 10 years. I really thought she'd be here. Lucy curled her hand slightly at her side. It wasn't just Anna. The other two close friends in her circle hadn't come either, and they had all shown up in that funeral Maybach today. My eyes suddenly stung. I remembered Lucy once saying that if the man she married in the future wasn't me, then none of them should go to her wedding. They kept that reckless promise from their youth. She didn't. Lucy finally got through to Anna the next morning. Anna didn't say much. She just sent over a location pin and added one specific warning. "Don't bring Jack. None of us want to see him." Lucy had her phone on speaker, so every word Anna said landed clearly in Jack's ears. He showed just the right amount of hurt, and Lucy instantly felt bad for him and wrapped herself around his arm. "It's okay. Sooner or later, they'll see how good you really are." After that, Lucy grabbed her coat and hurried out. Before she left, she kissed Jack on the cheek. Then the car took off fast. The three of them were waiting by the roadside. The air around us felt colder and colder, even though it was a scorcher out, a full 38 degrees. It was the middle of nowhere, not a soul in sight. Cigarette butts were scattered all around Anna's feet, and she still had half a cigarette in her hand. When Ryan and Leo saw Lucy, they both turned their heads to look somewhere else. Lucy parked the car and walked up to Anna. She had barely opened her mouth when Anna's fist slammed straight into her face and shut her up. Blood ran from her nose and the corner of her mouth. I jumped back in shock. Anna was famous for being a firecracker, rebellious as hell. She'd learned kickboxing, something a lot of guys liked, and she was seriously good at it. Lucy turned her face to the side, fury boiling in her eyes, her voice turning sharp. "Anna, are you insane? I haven't even asked why you guys skipped my wedding yesterday. Why'd you drag me out to this dump? You just start swinging without a word? If you want to end this friendship, then just say it." Anna shook out her fist, grabbed Lucy by the collar, and dragged her up the mountain. The farther in we went, the colder the wind got, leaves rattling hard in the trees. It sounded like a death march. Then I finally remembered. This was where it happened to me. This was probably where I died. Once Anna stopped, she kicked Lucy to the ground and demanded, "Lucy, the one who betrays real love deserves to die. So why was it Tom who died?" There were still dark bloodstains on the dry ground that no one had cleaned up. Lucy tried to push herself up, but her arm gave out and she collapsed again. She turned back to Anna in shock and only managed to speak after a long pause. "You said Tom is dead?" Anna didn't answer, just stared at her. Her eyes were terrifying, colder than if she were looking at a corpse. Ryan and Leo silently nodded. Their fists clenched so tight they cracked. I could tell they wanted to hit someone too, but they were men, and out of basic decency, they held back. Lucy still wouldn't believe it. After laughing a few times, she looked around and suddenly shouted, "Tom, come out! I know you're here! You all teamed up to trick me, didn't you?" She looked like she'd lost her mind. Then her eyes fell on something in the grass. I followed her gaze and saw the cufflink she'd given me when we got engaged. Lucy lunged for it. She dug the cufflink out of the grass. There was still blood on it. I guess that's when she finally accepted that I was dead. The air had never felt this quiet. Lucy sat there from 10 to noon without saying a word. Anna kept smoking, one cigarette after another. The midday sun was so harsh it made people dizzy, so I moved into the shade. When Lucy tried to stand, she could barely stay on her feet. Her hands were shaking even worse than they had yesterday at the wedding when she handed, "This is the company he built with his own 2 hands. You kicked him out and let people trash talk Lucy. What kind of person are you?" Anna grabbed Lucy by the collar and threw her to the floor. She came in weighed down with worry and left in a blaze of anger. I wanted to run after her and stop her, ask how she knew I was dead. I also wanted to ask why she came looking for Lucy when she couldn't stand me before. Lucy hit her head on the corner of the table, and Jack rushed over to help her up. Why didn't he step in when someone laid hands on his fiancée? I guess because he didn't dare mess with Anna. Anna said I was dead. Lucy obviously didn't believe it, and I get that. Lucy knew better than anyone that I always valued my life. Junior year, my parents died in a car crash. My grandma, who was already in the hospital, had a heart attack when she heard the news. Overnight, I lost the people closest to me. I became fragile and helpless, and Lucy was the one who dragged me out of that pit of grief. She said I still had her, so I had to take good care of myself. After that, I became extra careful with my life. After Lucy quickly treated the wound on her head, she buried herself in work, like my death was nothing but some joke to her. Even though it came straight from her best friend, she still didn't take it seriously. Lucy took over that deal with Guanghe and went to negotiate in person. I followed her into Guanghe's office building again, and this time Jack, who was always glued to her, didn't come. This time, the one receiving Lucy was Guanghe's Vice President Liu. His eyes swept past her shoulder like he was looking for someone. Tom didn't come? The smile on Lucy's face faded, and her voice turned a little colder. "Vice President Liu, I'm the one in charge of Xingmao." Those 5 words, "the one in charge of Xingmao," hit me like a wake-up call. That time, Lucy sent me overseas to expand the business. She said, "Tom, I really don't want you working so hard. Xingmao has me. That's enough. Once this business trip is over, get some real rest. I love you." That last "I love you" got swallowed by the roaring crowd at the airport that night. In the end, Lucy gave up another 5 points of profit. Once the deal was signed, she visibly relaxed. Then Anna sent her an address. It was a funeral home. Lucy frowned, her fingers pounding hard on the screen. "Anna, this act is getting old, seriously. Why would she think Anna would go along with some act for my sake? Anna was her best friend. Maybe it was just because she never liked me." After Lucy and I got together, anytime we showed up somewhere as a couple, Anna was almost never around. Until the night before Lucy and I got engaged. Anna got completely wasted, grabbed my arm and seriously placed my hand over Lucy's. She cursed the whole time, then said, "If you ever treat her badly, I'll kill you." I nodded like I meant it because I did. How could I ever treat Lucy badly? I gave her almost everything I had. Even Xingmao was kept afloat with the insurance money from my parents' accident. Lucy had been drinking a lot that night too. We sat together with Anna, Ryan, and Leo, and everyone looked completely at ease. Like we'd found the greatest treasure in the world. That day, she said every word with total seriousness. She told her friends that if the man she married someday wasn't me, then none of them were allowed to go to her wedding, and they all agreed. But when you're young and reckless, how many promises do you really keep? Lucy tossed her phone onto the passenger seat. At the top of the screen, Anna kept showing typing a few times, but in the end, she never sent anything. But out of nowhere, my chest started tearing with pain, like my whole soul was being scorched alive, and my mind slowly started to fade. I thought, maybe this was finally it for me. Honestly, there wasn't much left for me to hold on to. When I came to, it was 3 a.m. on some random day. It felt like I'd just woken up from a dream. In that dream, everything was hazy. Someone was crying quietly, trying to hold it in. Tears landed in my palm, hot enough to make my whole body jolt. But when I opened my eyes, all I saw was Lucy facing the mirror, checking her wedding dress again and again. There was a smile on her face. A photographer followed her every move with his camera. I looked around the room, and in that familiar space, there were now red wedding paper cutouts on the glass. On the calendar by the vanity, today's date was circled with a red heart. That's when I realized it was Lucy and Jack's wedding day. And the apartment they were using as their marital home was one I had personally designed and renovated 3 years ago. Do you think traffic will be bad today? I'm scared we'll be late. Lucy's voice snapped me out of it. She rubbed her hands together nervously, and when I turned my head, I saw her parents walking out from another room. They had more gray hair now, but maybe happy occasions really do brighten people up. Both of them kept smiling the whole time. You've always been impatient since you were little. Tom's the only one patient enough to put up with that temper of yours. Lucy's mom was arranging the red dates and lotus seeds on the bright red wedding bed, seemingly not noticing the flash of awkwardness on Lucy's face. The smile dropped right off Lucy's dad's face. His expression darkened in an instant, and there was something unreadable in his eyes. He stopped Lucy's mom, then guided her back into the inner room. Lucy didn't explain. She just coaxed her mother along and tried to reassure her. I didn't follow them into that room, but I could still hear the father and daughter arguing nonstop. In bits and pieces, I heard my own name again. By the time I moved closer, all I caught was Lucy's dad saying in a low voice, "Your mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's last year." When Lucy came back out, her face didn't look good. She pulled out her phone to call someone, but the call wouldn't go through. Then the photographer urged her on. "The groom's here to pick you up. Time to go." More than 10 black Maybachs rolled neatly out of the neighborhood in a huge display. I landed on the roof of one car and stared blankly at the sky just starting to brighten. I didn't know how much longer I'd be stuck following Lucy, but I realized something. I couldn't feel pain anymore. Lucy sat in the wedding car, dialing the same number over and over. The endless ringing made her more and more irritated. Then suddenly, every car came to a stop. I looked ahead and saw another line of black Maybachs stopped in the opposite lane. The hood of the first car was covered with yellow and white chrysanthemums, roses, and lilies. It was a funeral procession. Red met white. Lucy already looked upset, and now her face got even worse. But no one on the other side got out to negotiate, so both sides were locked there. My heartbeat started pounding like a drum, shoving me toward the funeral procession. Through the tinted privacy film on the back window, I vaguely saw a familiar face, and in that person's hands was a photo of me. I froze in shock. This tree-lined road was never part of any normal funeral route, unless the driver had chosen it on purpose. My chest, which I thought could never hurt again, started feeling like it was being stabbed over and over. Lucy's eyes turned red. That hit even harder than when he raised his hand. Tom crushed the cigarette butt under his shoe, grinding it again and again, then fell silent. Tom lifted his eyes and gave Lucy a cold glance. "Lucy, whatever we had ends here. Next time we meet, we'll be enemies in business." Among the 4 of them, Lucy was the only one with no background. Back in school, she got close to the other 3 because she had good grades and high EQ. From middle school to high school and then college, Tom stayed at the same schools as us. Mike and David chose to study abroad. By the time they came back, Lucy and I had already made our relationship official. Since we started the business, they had helped us a lot. Jingmao's growth couldn't have happened without the 3 of them backing us. But now, the 4 of them seemed to be drifting apart. After the same 16 years, it turned out we had all drifted apart. Lucy stayed on the mountain for a long time, from sunset until moonrise. The mountain wind brushed past my ears and chilled me to the bone. Lucy answered the call from her dad. Her voice was a little hoarse. "Dad, I'm still figuring out Mom's illness. Things aren't easy for David right now. I can't keep bothering him. I had been leaning against a tree trunk, but I slowly straightened up. Last year was the hardest year I had overseas. Each month, I could only occasionally find time to video call them. Through the screen, I never noticed anything wrong with Lucy's mom. And that year, Lucy and Jack were getting very close. She only found out about her mom's illness yesterday." On the other end, Lucy's dad went quiet. After a long pause, he replied, "Last year, Tom and Ben already came to see us. You don't need to worry about us. Your mom and I won't interfere with who you choose, but we want you to know some people are gone once you miss them. Adults shouldn't regret their own choices." Watching Lucy's back bend under her father's words, I couldn't hold back my tears anymore. Yeah, adults shouldn't regret their own choices. Lucy returned to the wedding home late at night. Jack's calls came one after another. Lucy was getting impatient from all the calls. I seemed to see the way she used to look when she answered mine. Lucy drove even faster than she had on the way there. The restless roar of the engine couldn't drown out her painful screams, but someone had already told her not to regret her own choices. Seeing her like this now only made me look down on her more. Jack was waiting at the villa entrance. When he saw Lucy's face didn't look good, he wasn't as anxious as he sounded on the phone. Instead, he spoke gently. "Honey, you're back." Lucy pushed the door open, holding back her emotions. What came into view was the house torn apart into a complete mess. All the decorative paintings I had collected from everywhere, the ones worth keeping, were piled on the floor. Quite a few frames were broken, and vase shards were scattered all over the floor, like someone had just taken their anger out on the place. Lucy frowned, her tone indifferent. "Did you have someone tear all this down?" Jack smiled as if he didn't think anything was wrong. "New life, new vibe. The old stuff is outdated. I don't like it." Lucy thought for a moment, but in the end, she said nothing. While Lucy was showering, Jack had someone throw out everything that had been torn apart. He took pictures and sent them to my phone like he was showing off. "See? Every trace of your existence has been wiped away by me." The meaning went both ways. Even though those men never said who ordered them, it was obviously Jack, texting a dead person. What kind of weird habit is that? The next second, there was a reply from the other side. Jack almost dropped the phone. A photo popped up. Jack looked at it for a moment, then threw the phone when Lucy opened the door, adding a scream for effect. Lucy checked Jack's phone. Her final conclusion was that it had probably caught a virus and he could just get a new one. After Jack fell asleep, she took her phone and went to the study. Under the dim yellow light, Lucy stood by the window, her emotions unreadable. She opened her call history and found the landline number in her blacklist, the one that had kept calling her that day. After searching it, she found out it was a call from the police station. So that was why Tom had rushed into the conference room that day and questioned why she wouldn't even collect the body. Lucy called back. When the call connected, the officer on the other end froze for a long time. After hearing it was homicide and that the suspect had already been arrested, Lucy's face turned especially grim. After hanging up, she immediately called Tom. Tom picked up very quickly. It was like he had been waiting by the phone. Lucy sounded like she was gritting her teeth. "You sent Jack that picture, didn't you?" "Tom, even if Alex is dead, you can't take your anger out on Jack." Tom let out a low laugh on the other end. "If you've done nothing wrong, you won't fear a ghost knocking. Lucy, what are you afraid of? Could Alex's death have something to do with you?" Tom angered Lucy so much that her face flushed red. Her furious voice echoed through the entire study. "Tom, what makes you think you're any better? Wasn't Jack the one you brought to me? You secretly liked Alex for over 10 years. Tom, do you dare admit that? To steal Alex from me, you set me up. You can't escape responsibility for Alex's death either." Honestly, Lucy had changed a lot. In the past, she wouldn't casually push the blame onto others. But now, she could just pin my death on Tom like it was nothing. Her words were like a pebble thrown into the vast ocean. They couldn't even make a ripple. Because Jack wasn't brought to Lucy by Tom. To be exact, maybe it was because I wanted to close more deals and push the company further. For once, I went to Tom first, and Tom helped me make the connection. That day, Jack's father brought Jack to the restaurant with him. Later, I handed the deal over to Lucy to follow up on, and that was how Jack ended up interning at our company. As for the trap Lucy mentioned, I don't think Tom would stoop to that. For someone so blunt and hot-tempered, the thing I heard him say most was, "Just beat them up and it'll be fine." Just like earlier that day when he punched Lucy in the face. For some reason, I suddenly remembered the first time I met Tom. On middle school registration day, Tom and I were both late. I was embarrassed, but his bright smile somehow put me at ease. He said, "It's not like the sky is falling. Why care so much?" Back then, I thought Tom seemed pretty easy to talk to. He was good-looking and optimistic, but I had never really interacted with him. It wasn't until my desk mate Lucy became close with him that I learned his name was Tom. Lucy called both Mike and David. She wanted to know whether my death had anything to do with Jack. The two of them refused to say a word, and I realized I could finally get away. I left Lucy's side in a daze. Wandering down the dim street, I didn't know where I should go, or who I should look for. An old man was pedaling his tricycle with all his strength. On it were the paintings I'd been most proud of collecting. They were battered and broken just like me now. I followed the old man at a distance, worried my cold presence might make him sick, but I also wanted to know what he would do with those paintings. He stopped by the roadside, panting heavily. A familiar Maybach slowly pulled up nearby. When Tom got out of the car, my heart jumped. All I could think about was what Lucy had said, that Tom had secretly liked me for 10 years. Tom loaded the paintings into his car one by one, then gave the old man some money and a cup of warm water. The old man thanked him again and again. I no longer cared about my death, but I still chose to follow Tom. Maybe he could take me to see where I was buried. Maybe then I could disappear completely. Tom really didn't let me down. Carrying a pack of beer, he walked into the cemetery in the middle of the night. I followed closely behind him, a little scared, barely leaving his side. My grave was in a good spot. Tom must have spent a lot of money. Even the funeral was arranged by him. I should have said thank you to him. Tom chugged beer, one mouthful after another. His tears hit the ground like broken beads. "Alex, if only you didn't hate me. If only the person you liked had been me." Tom's line about being enemies in business showed itself very quickly. He cut off all contact with Xing Mao. He also spread harsh words in the circle. No one dared work with Xing Mao because no one dared cross Tom. Lucy was overwhelmed and running herself ragged, but it didn't help. The work she and I poured our hearts into was finally reduced to ashes. When Lucy cornered Tom in his office, Mike and David both rushed over. Lucy held out her hand to Tom. "Give me Alex's phone." Tom raised an eyebrow. "Why should I?" Lucy choked with anger. She threw the messy photos onto the floor. Were all these photos from Alex's phone? He knew about Jack and me all along. When he came back this time, he already knew I would break up with him, didn't he? Lucy spoke those words very slowly, as if she were torturing herself. 3 days ago, Tom mailed Lucy a stack of photos. I had watched Tom print those photos with my own eyes. They were the photos Jack sent me, along with his chat history with me, full of triumphant provocation, showing off, and mockery. 16 years. And you never understood what kind of person Alex was. He chose you because he liked you. He loved you. But you were never worthy of his love. Tom kicked Lucy out. Before kicking her out, Tom beat her up again. Mike and David rubbed their noses and silently pretended they hadn't seen anything. Actually, I already knew the truth behind my death. But Jack had covered it up well, and those 4 men had been drunk. It felt like everything ended there. Strangely, I was trapped by Lucy again. Compared with before, I was even closer to her now, and it was hard to stay away. When Lucy threw the photos in front of Jack, Jack tried to explain. If you hadn't asked Alex to go to that cafe that day, Alex wouldn't have gotten hurt. If not for you, I should have married Alex. Lucy questioned him, asking why he sent me those things, while still muttering about how heartbroken Alex must have been. I curled my lips. Whether I was heartbroken or not, it was already over. But being trapped here, watching her fake deep regret, really hurt. Jack was probably provoked by Lucy's words. He stood up and grabbed the picture frame on the table. Then he smashed it at Lucy. Lucy, why are you acting so pure? Even if I was the one who approached you first, did I force you? Tom could reject me. Why couldn't you? Don't take the benefits and then try to act righteous in front of me. I chose you only because Tom was out of my league. Otherwise, why would I ever look at you? Divorce. I want a divorce right now. I thought you were so close to Tom's family, but now you didn't win them over. You made enemies. Do you really think you're some stunning beauty that every man must have? If I hadn't thought you were close to those 3 families, I wouldn't even spare a glance at a woman like you. Lucy would never agree to the divorce. During the days I was trapped by her, I realized Lucy had become the kind of selfish person we once hated most. She chose Jack because Jack's family company could help her far more than I could. The Lucy of now wished I were still around only because she wanted me to help solve her problems. That was all. If I hadn't died, she would have benefited the most. During the days filled with endless arguments, Jack was mentally worn down by Lucy until he became a little unstable. Jack's father came to see him a few times. Each time he tried to talk him down gently. Life can get better as you live it. Besides, look, hasn't Xing Mao already gotten back on track? Keep your wife happy and have her fix those friendships. Our family is counting on you. Xing Mao had indeed gotten back on track, but that was something Lucy got by trading with Tom. That surprised me. Lucy used Xing Mao shares that had already become cheap to trade with Tom for the location of my grave. Xing Mao had changed hands, and in the end, Lucy still didn't find my grave. Tom protected what I had built, and he tricked Lucy too. He found someone with the same name as me and let her go there to pay respects. When Lucy stood in front of that tombstone, gritting her teeth, I saw Tom, Mike, and the others standing far away. They mocked her, saying late love is cheaper than grass. But they mocked the wrong thing. She just couldn't get past the guilt in her own heart. She also couldn't watch Xing Mao slowly decline toward its end. She didn't love me anymore. That was the truth. Later, Lucy searched every cemetery she could find, but still couldn't find me. I was kind of relieved that my tombstone could stay clean, and the day I broke free from Lucy's hold was the day they both destroyed each other, because Lucy had gone crazy. Every day she repeated the same sentence. If Alex were still here, I wouldn't be like this now. Lucy really had gone crazy. She carried a stick into the bedroom and looked at Jack, who was sleeping. She beat him brutally, then turned herself in and exposed both her and Jack's crimes. Tom buried me next to my parents. Lucy never guessed it, because she had stopped caring long ago. When I returned to my own tombstone, my parents were standing in a soft glow as if they had been waiting for me for a long time. They said they were here to take me home. Behind them, Grandma was leaning on her cane and waving at me. Before I left 2 selfish wishes in this world. I hope Lucy and Jack torment each other until they grow old, and I hope Tom stays happy forever. The end.